for your inspiring talk. Have you any questions to him? In our conference, it's important to discuss points. So I have here a raising hand and here one, please. Can you?
I can do this.
There's somebody coming. Please tell your name and ask your question.
My name is Chanikar. I'm actually from Thailand with the team. Yes, so to your, the third piece, the passion, and you said really claiming that for you to be specifically for projects more than getting rewards. But how do you explain the social effect of using the social network and all the likes and loves that actually you put up on the Scratch website? Does that actually incentivize more projects to begin, and how do you reconcile between focusing on the passion for just creating the project or actually getting the reward from the the social aspects of it?
Well, for me, there is a difference between who it is that is providing the quote reward. If it's something that's recognition from your peers, in my mind, it has a very different feel and a different result from the motivation, as opposed to, actually, I've been very influenced by the writer and psychologist Alfie Kahn, and the type of rewards that he talks about being most demotivating is when it's put in the form, if you do this, you'll get that. And I think that's what often happens in some settings where he says, if you do this, you'll get that. And with getting the likes from others, it's not in that form. It's people, you're getting recognition for something you've created. It's not that you're doing it in order to achieve the reward that's been dangled in front of you ahead of time, but it's more recognition after you've created something. It still can be challenging. These are not sort of a dichotomy. That we do see this in the website, that sometimes people become too motivated by how many love-its that they get, and I think that can be problematic. Or people get, although we think it's nice to recognize some projects and feature them on the homepage for others to see the possibilities, some young people get too focused on how can I get on the homepage. So I do think there are challenges, and it's not everything is either totally intrinsic or totally extrinsic. But I think we really want to avoid where a type of outside authority is saying, if you do this, you will get that.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
I'm Brian Harvey from UC Berkeley. Hi. Hi, Mitch.
Hey, Brian.
I find this talk really inspiring, and I know sometimes when I get hung up in the technical details of something, I forget some of the big ideas, and it's great that you guys seem to have them always in mind. I was wondering how this relates to the curriculum stuff over at Scratch Ed, where there's a lot of things comparable to the code.org stuff that you didn't like. So how do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, we're fortunate to have Karen speaking later today, so she can, I think it would be good to talk to her about some of the things on Scratch Ed. One thing I'd say is, and actually I'm not sure exactly the type of things they're going. Also, if you're talking about things that are contributed from the community of Scratch Ed, we're always going to have, I think it's the same thing, of the 6 million projects on the Scratch website, there's a lot that we don't see are the type of projects that we would most want people to do, the people that are more violent than we'd like, or more this or more that. You open up to a community, you're not controlling everything that's there in the Scratch community. Similarly, with educators contributing things, we want to have lots of people sharing. It's not that we embrace all of those ways of sharing. So that's the first point I'd make. But I think it's good to have all of that. A second point I'd make is I do think there's good to have a collection of things. And that even when I mentioned about code.org, as I said, when I was growing up, I would have enjoyed doing those puzzles. And there's nothing wrong with doing puzzles. There could be value in doing puzzles. I just worry that the world is going too far in that direction. I want to make sure to highlight the things that are too often overlooked and undervalued. So having some combination of things, I think can be useful.
So Celia?
Hi, Celia Hollis from London, England. It's now quite a few years since Scratch started. It's obviously been a phenomenon. The whole thing is amazing. If you were to start, or if you were starting again and you had all the knowledge you have now from the development work, I mean, obviously things have developed more generally, but from all these projects and the comments on them, what would you do differently now?
That's a really good question. It's going to be a hard one for me to have an answer right away. Let me think for a moment. The things, I think we need better, there's lots of things to improve. But maybe the first thing I'd say is, I don't think we've done enough to provide good pathways for people to get started. So I think that right now, Scratch has worked well for certain kids who already know how to navigate these types of spaces. Not because they've done coding before, they've had a certain type of experiences in the world, and they come to Scratch and they can figure it out. We wanted people to be able to come to Scratch and make sense of it. And that does work for some kids. And we're very happy when that happens. Their projects are highlighted. There are a lot of kids where that isn't the case. And I think we should have done more, we still need to do more to find better entry paths for supporting people as they get started and recognize that different people are going to get started in different ways. I don't think we've necessarily done enough, actually just to provide any type of support for getting started, but also a multiplicity of types of support for getting started. So I think that's something that we need to do more, both for kids getting started on their own and in the classroom. Like Karen and her group at Scratch just came out with a new curriculum guide, where that's one of the things they try to do in dealing with educators, is multiple pathways into it. And I think we need to do much more of things like that, both for the educators, for the individual kids, for parents, for community center leaders, better ways, and find the right balance of providing those pathways in without overly structuring so that people are just following the instructions in a rote way. So I think that's the thing that we need to do a much better job of.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mitch. I think we have to look at the clock, and we have a second keynote speaker, and you have a second chance to ask Mitch. It is not only the breaks. He gives a workshop tomorrow on Scratch Junior, and there's written iPad required, but he has brought a lot of iPads, and I think you can work pairwise. I also will bring the iPad of my stepmother.
It's not easy going to an airport with 10 iPads, I found out.
Okay, thank you, Mitch, again.